some mental health tips, and I really felt like this one was pretty heavy on my heart to speak about during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic that we are in, with everyone experiencing similar to different emotions, and how to just have a balance between wisdom and fear. We've been hearing a lot about anxiety and fear, and the one thing that we have to acknowledge, and everyone is experiencing in some way, shape, or form, is the loss and the grief. Grief is something that not everyone is used to experiencing in such a large way. So if we haven't experienced a close family member passing, or a huge event in our life where we've experienced a loss, you may not understand those emotions that are connected with that. Everyone has experienced some sense of loss in their life, and maybe you haven't realized it, but loss is anything that has changed for a person. So you can experience loss if you've moved from a city to another city, or people can experience loss when you go from when you graduate high school, or you are even getting a new job, or so there's. And why would you experience loss? It's because of what you've known, what you've had, and you no longer have it. Now, the changes that are happening and the things that seem to be taken away from us are taking a toll on people because of it. So much is happening at one time. Now, we look at that as stress, but the other thing that is happening is that sense of loss. One of the things that has been heavy on my heart is teenagers. And perhaps because I have two teenagers, I'm observing what's happening for them and for the teenagers around, and hearing just the losses for seniors in high schools and college seniors, or even those who are transitioning from elementary school to middle school, to high school. Those students who are experience a sense of loss because they are not going back to that place that was so familiar and that had meaning to them, those relationships that were there, the events that are surrounding those places, so graduations, end of school events, things like that. The other losses that we're experiencing are those who have birthdays during this time. Maybe it doesn't seem like a huge deal, but especially those who are their milestone birthdays, that they were planning, large events, maybe a sweet 16, a quinceañera, or even just a first birthday. And I'll go with that, birthdays. The births of so many new babies during this time, and not being able to have that birthing experience that you had wanted, with the fear that comes along with it, the family that cannot be around you, or the baby showers, the weddings that are no longer that are being postponed, or and that sense of loss that is there. So we need to acknowledge the grief that comes with it. So grief is a normal human response, just as sadness and anger is a normal human response. It's an emotion, and it's what we experience, all in different ways. So having compassion for others and empathy during this time, because it may seem like nobody, you don't know what it's like to not have your graduation. You don't know what it's like to have to postpone your wedding, whatever the loss may be. Let's have compassion for those and empathy for those that are experiencing it. And whatever their loss that they seem to feel is a loss to them, let's validate others' emotions in regards to that. So I want to go over just a couple things on how to deal with loss and grief during this time of crisis. The first thing is that we need to recognize that this is not going to last forever. I've said it before, is that this is just for a season. This is just for a time frame. And yes, we don't know how long it will last, but it's not going to last forever. Things will move on, and this will be a time in our history. Things in history seemed like it lasted for a long time, but it's now in the past. So that would be the first thing. Second thing would be whatever feelings you're having, they're normal and it's okay. Validate your own feelings. Give yourself permission to be with those feelings. I'm in my feelings right now. Like, I just need to acknowledge that right now I'm feeling sad. Right now I feel heavy. Right now I am I'm a little weepy. It's coming, and or this is weird. I don't ever feel this way, but I just feel this right now. Acknowledge that and know that it soon will pass, and it's okay to feel that. So we don't want to suppress anything, and we don't want to feel guilty because we are feeling that. So make sure that you are being honest with yourself and give yourself permission to do so. So the next thing would be talk to someone to get perspective. Sometimes when we are just in our heads, we are full of just our own thoughts, and we need to speak it out, especially those who are verbal processors. We need to say it and just process that. But also when we speak to someone else, we're allowing ourselves to get another perspective and to not feel alone as well, because maybe the other person may not be experiencing the same thing, but to know, hey, we're not alone. We're all together in this. The other thing is to find something to replace that loss with, like a new hobby, a new interest. So replace the loss with a gain. I may have lost this, but look what I've gained. Look what I said this before, look what I get to do. I may not get to do that, but look what I get to do. I know a lot of schools are saying, we're going to keep on, we're going to do a graduation. You will have your ceremony. It's not that you won't, but look what you are going to get to do it. And you're going to be the only high school class that will ever get to do it this way. So see what you're going to gain during this time. Be patient with yourself. Now, we want to rush things. We want to say, let's just get over it. Let's just let this, I want to be done with being sad. I want to be done with that. But be patient with yourself. And if you need to take time, take that time. And the next thing would be replace negative thoughts with good ones. Okay? So think about, what have you learned during this time? What is better? How are things getting better? I would even pose this in a spiritual sense, and I would say, what is God wanting me to learn during this time? How can I look at this time and see God's goodness around me? The next thing would be, take small steps. Be gracious with yourself. You take those baby steps. You won't instantly feel better, but one small thing you do right now is going to help you to feel happier. It's going to be baby steps. I always tell my clients this, is that I don't go for 100%. I don't see, I'm not going to say by tomorrow I'm going to be 100% better, because I know the little things that I do today are going to help me get to where I want to be, but I'm not there yet, and I'm not going to see it all gone tomorrow, because it takes time. So be patient in the process. Allow yourself to understand that this does take time, and you are going to see changes happening when you do baby steps. So this is a time of grief and loss for everyone, and my heart goes out to those who are suffering, who have lost jobs, who are being affected by this the most. And I thank you all for doing your part, and my heart goes out to you. Stay tuned for more videos on mental health tips, and I hope you're all keeping safe.